show is The Switch. The presenters are Didi and the lovely Miss
Shannon.
But we are not alone, okay? So a couple of weeks ago, Miss Namibia 2019 took place and everybody was sitting in their living room or watching with anticipation, wondering who's gonna win or what's gonna happen, how is it all gonna work out. And eventually the crowning ceremony came about and this beautiful, refined lady walked on stage after her name was called with a broken heel, and nobody noticed that.
They're like you just had to put that out there,
like,
right?
Nobody noticed that. And that, I think, is just phenomenal. But let me not rant on. Welcome to our studios, Nadja.
Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm great. Being on radio is always fun. So
Wonderful. We love hearing that.
I really want to know who Nadja is. Who are you? What do you stand for? What do you believe in? And why do you do what you do?
what I stand for believing in children and believing in people, because I'm where I am today because somebody believed in me.
True.
So that's my message. Just believe in one another, especially believe in your child, believe in the children out there, because that's all that they need. They just need to know that there's somebody behind them that believed in them or believes in them still. And I like pomegranates.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Exotic
a lot, yes. I enjoy surfing. I enjoy diving, deep sea diving.
Wow, deep sea.
Yeah, deep sea.
Girl.
I did skydiving once, but I don't know if that is a high or rather low.
I can
Never again in my life.
Okay.
One day I'll post a video of it and you guys will just laugh about it.
Please do. Wow, you're very, very adventurous. Hey.
Yeah, I try.
Wonderful.
I like my comfort zone. That's why I force myself to get
go
out
out
of it.
there.
Yes.
Good.
Beautiful.
And otherwise, yeah, I would say I'm the girl next door, actually.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Beautiful. So everybody is wondering, I'm sure it's on everyone's mind, okay? Nadja Breytenbach, Miss Namibia 2019. How did that journey take place? Like, when did your modeling or your pageantry career start in order for you to get to this title that you are at today?
So I did Miss Teen in 2013 with Jana Hennisch.
Okay.
Yes, she won that year. I really looked up to her and I still do. But it was the worst experience of my life.
Okay, I didn't expect that.
No, because I wasn't prepared. I didn't know it was such a big thing.
Yeah.
You were like,
I got there wearing my matric farewell dress, reading through the questions for the interview like a day before. Didn't really think about makeup. I actually don't know why I even signed up for it,
Okay.
And then I got there and I was so nervous and I just really didn't enjoy the experience. So I was like, this is it. I'll never do this again. I'm not made for stage.
And look at you now,
Even
girl.
though I won best interview, but I don't. So,
okay.
but I told myself I'll never do this again. And then during my internship year for my honors in psychology last year, I worked at a child trauma counseling center in Blouberg, Strand in Cape Town.
Okay.
And they just do therapy with traumatized children from underprivileged communities.
Okay.
Because they can't afford to send their children to a psychologist,
True.
to a clinical
Very, very true.
psychologist, to a counselor, to a therapist. And I believe that mental health is for everybody. And if we can help those children when they're young, they can have productive and amazing lives in their future.
Beautiful.
And they I just realized, you know what, and first of all, Namibia doesn't have this. And I just realized that life is so much more than just living for yourself.
True.
Life gives you so much more when you live selflessly.
Yeah.
And it's not all about, I just realized my career has so much more to offer than just sitting in a private practice
And just waiting for people
and
to come
waiting
through.
for my next private client that drives a Porsche, yeah, talking about how
Living
bad the husbands are,
comfortably.
like it's an important thing, and I believe that my point is everybody deserves
Chance.
to be able to go to a psychologist, to a counselor. So yeah, and then just randomly one day I went onto Facebook and the Miss Namibia application thing popped up for 2019. And I scrolled through it. I was like, nope, this is not going to happen. And then it popped up again and again and again and again. And I really look up to Raelene Strauss because I see a lot of similarities between the two of us in our personalities, the way we do things and the way we look. I find her very stunning. And I don't know, she made a story about something, about just, getting out of your comfort zone, and that she was scared to actually sign up the first time for Miss South Africa, especially after she already signed up beforehand a few years before. And and I was like, you know what, when not now, when,
Exactly.
So I signed up. That's the whole long story.
That's how it happened. And boom, here we are.
Here we are.
So before the break, you did mention Yana as one of the people that you look up to, but now I'm going to ask a more straightforward question. Who inspires you, and why do you look up to them? Why do you think this person is a really powerful person?
I have different people that I look up to in my life, in different areas of my life. My granny is a big inspiration. She fled World War II and she experienced hectic stuff. And instead of being sour and bitter her entire life and being depressed, she's the most positive, kind-hearted, and she just has unconditional love for everybody. And as a psychology student, we learn a lot about unconditional love, but she showed me how that actually looks like. So I really look up to her, and she just told me there's always something positive to draw out of every situation, no matter how bad it is. And so just to be positive. I look up to Raelene Strauss a lot, as I mentioned before. Her personality and everything, and just what she was the first African after a long time to actually achieve something, winning Miss World in 2014 in the pageantry world. And obviously Michelle McLean. I think I met her in person. I've seen how she does her job. Wow. She's just so professional and very kind-hearted and very down to earth. And I look up to Michelle Obama. Really want to meet her. I find her so inspiring. Like, being a woman next to such a powerful man is a tough thing.
It is.
And then being a mom as well, and doing such amazing things.
And being in the limelight, there's so much pressure to be perfect and to not misstep.
I mean, if I have the pressure already, I don't know how she must have felt like and still must feel like. So I have a couple, and it always depends on what life situation I'm in. And those are the people I revert back to. But usually my grannies, I think, is the biggest inspiration.
It's beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, so talking about the pageantry world, what do you think about the modeling industry in Namibia currently? Is it growing? Who is it? How is it right now?
You see, I don't have a lot of knowledge about the modeling world, but I do have a little bit of knowledge about the pageantry world. I think it's Salma started it. She started modernizing pageantry. She started showing that we're modern women that actually are super intelligent and actually stand for something. We're not just bodies, we're people with character. And so I think a lot of more girls since then started looking into pageantry. And I think it's definitely growing. And I hope to add to that growth and just to spread the knowledge of what it actually can do for a young girl.
Okay, that's beautiful. So we're going to take you back to the night when it all happened.
Oh my goodness.
The entire journey basically led up to that night, the crowning night. What was your highlight during that period of the entire show, basically?
The entire show. The show wasn't the highlight for me. The week with the girls was the highlight for me.
Okay.
Sharing a room with Nasha, for example. Just being surrounded by so many intelligent, beautiful, really strong-willed women that just have so much going for in their lives. It's just it just touched me, and we're still very good. We're very close. We actually met up last week for lunch. And we really build a friendship for life, and I have 11 more girlfriends, which is awesome. And it just made me realize how important it is to to focus on the people that you surround yourself with, because I was so confident that week. I was so strong. I was so inspired, so creative. And it was just because of the 11 girls I surrounded myself with. So that was actually the highlight for me. The night was just the cherry on the top.
Okay, so can you give us a run through? What do you plan on doing with this crown and this sash? What are your plans for 2019, for the rest of 2019, and for your reign?
Okay, so for this year and after my year, I started, beginning of the year, started working with Side by Side Early Intervention Center and House Maria Children's Home.
Okay.
At Side by Side, I'm involved. I don't know if you know what Side by Side is, so maybe I need to explain that. They work with, so they're daycare for mentally disordered children.
Okay.
They work from autism to cerebral palsy. So they work with those children, and they are in Katatura, which is a very impoverished community, and those parents can't afford to send their children to physios and doctors and all of those kind of things, or to educate themselves on how to handle it financially as well and mentally. So that's what they do. They just give support and early intervention on those aspects. But I'm more involved with the caregivers and the parents of those children. Side by Side runs a workshop every first Tuesday of the month, where they just educate the parents and caregivers on different topics every time, on where to get help, or what to do when the doctors don't want to help you in hospital, like the basics. And everybody's welcome. And at House Maria, I ran a workshop with 5-6 girls between the ages of 13 and 18 on confidence and self-esteem and how to actually build that up.
That is beautiful.
And I can just always say I went into that thinking I can teach them something. But actually, in the end of the day, they taught me.
Deep.
Whoa.
And then of course I'm part of building the Diamond Generation, because that's the project of Miss Namibia.
Okay.
And I'm going to 3 different regions, and this year I'm involving my 2 other princesses, my other 2 queens. Yes. So actually Johanna and I are driving down to Keetmanshoop next week Wednesday, where we'll just do talks at schools about substance abuse, teenage pregnancy, dropping out of school, and why it is important why education is important. So
beautiful.
Those are my goals.
Very, very beautiful.
I'm loving it already.
So just before we wrap things up, you've had a mouthful to say, most definitely, and you clearly have a love and a passion for helping people, working with children, building up and empowering others. And the one thing that I loved that you said was giving other people a chance, because you were also given a chance. That's why you're here. But just to maybe wrap it all up, what would your words of motivation be? That one thing that you just wake up and you're like, you know what, this is what I tell myself to just go through the day, and this is what I think will get someone else through the day.
Good one. I would, sometimes we're all human. We sometimes wake up and we're like, oh, I can't do this, or I'm not worthy. That's what I really struggled with. I'm not worthy. And just remember that you have a reason on this world, in like you have a place and a reason why you're here on this earth. You know, and if you don't make the best out of your life, out of the talents and the qualities that you have, who's going to do that for you? You have 2 choices in life. You're either going to live a life of mediocrity, or you're going to live a life of greatness. And we all have a talent, we all have a gift. So use it, believe in yourself, and there are people that look up to you. You can be 40 years old, there's going to be somebody that looks up to you. You can be 4 years old, there's somebody that's looking up to you. What do you want to teach them? What do you want to teach your children one day? What story do you want to tell one day? Are you going to be proud of your story or not? So that's kind of what motivates me, because I want to be proud one day when I tell my story. And so
I could listen to you talk the whole day.
She has such a beautiful voice, it's such an angelic, soft, sweet voice. Like, I love it. I really do.
So I'm very passionate about all of those things. So
wonderful.
So in case we want to follow you on Instagram or Facebook, can you please give us all your social media handles?
So on Instagram, which I'm most active on, is being Nadja.
Okay.
Like just being Nadja. yeah, I actually named myself that because I want to be normal. I want to be natural. I don't want to show fakeness or, we have enough on that on social media. Let's just show the real deal, and that not everything is glamorous. And I think that's the role models that our younger generation needs. And then on Facebook, I'm normal Nadja Breytenbach. Yeah, I have a public profile, so everybody can look at me.
Right. Thank you so much for joining us in studio today.
Thank you for inviting me.